Well, thank you, Steve, for sort of referencing that work. The answer was an MSc, but I think we need to acknowledge that on occasions like this, after a once in a century, once in a 300-year recession in the UK, once in a century pandemic event globally, the response of markets, the response of agents within those markets, households, businesses, I have my view on how they will respond. But I would be hugely arrogant, and I'd be perhaps a little naive if I would say that my side of the argument, while it may be in the ascendancy both in the bond market pricing and in survey expectations, for clients, I think it's important to show them the counter argument and some of the leading indicators that may reveal if we're wrong.
Simon, are you anywhere near the equity people at Panmure? I bet you are. You're not far away from them, are you?
Yep.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we're right next to them.
So when you tell them that this is all transient, I mean, do they turn around and say, have you seen these numbers, Simon? Have you seen the fact that there is a 75% growth in earnings going on at the moment? 88% of companies are beating expectations as well. That's stateside. We're seeing the CEOs like Bjorn Rosengren this morning from ABB telling me and Karen on this show that actually they are seeing big price increases across the board as well. What do you turn around to them when they say that to you?
Yeah, and you're right to cite that there's an awful lot of skepticism. It's one of the reasons why I wrote the note, because it's a vibrant debate. There's a lot of very visible goods-based inflation. One of the things that I push back by saying is, do you think there's been a fundamental redistribution of pricing power? And I mean, people fall asleep immediately I say that, but there is a sort of more serious element to this, is that inflation, sustained inflation, is about power of workers, power of businesses to push through wage increases, price increases. Now, you've allocated temporary power to companies and workers in some sectors because of the idiosyncrasies of supply chain frictions, because of huge stimulus checks that have gone out in the US, furlough schemes across Europe. But do you think going into 2022, 2023, those negotiating positions of large parts of the corporate sphere with relatively little pricing power ahead of the pandemic have been fundamentally altered to ones where they have pricing power? I don't think they have, and therefore I think that both those earnings uplifts, albeit from a very low base, but also the pricing power will be transitory.
I'm hearing you on that, Simon. I know a number of business leaders who've had to grant those price increases now, but are watchful down the track and really want to hold the line so we're not seeing those increases down the track. When it comes to the UK economy, if we can just bring it back here, we are seeing this big amount of pinging going on, which is meaning more supply chain bottlenecks at this stage, but also an opening up of the economy, the lifting of restrictions as virus cases continue to soar. What do you make of Boris Johnson's handling of the pandemic at this point? And is it the only solution if we want to restore the economy?
Well, there's a lot in that question. I'll try and take it in each part. So first of all, do I think that the breakage now between case rates and severe hospitalizations and deaths is pretty compelling? Yes, I do think it is, and therefore case numbers are not the metric in order to assess that trade-off between reopening and putting in restrictions. So I was, for what it is worth, as an economist, I was supportive of those moves. Do I think the overall handling in terms of the messaging to businesses has been consistent and coherent? No, I don't think it has, and I think that's the big criticism here, which is there's an awful lot of people in Westminster who haven't actually run a business, don't actually understand that the biggest currency you can have right now is a degree of certainty in order to plan both your workforce, your investment plans. That's what's going to yield strong growth in H2 and into next year. And unfortunately, they've been rather let down by government on that. So supportive of the opening timetable, but really quite critical of the messaging.
Thank you for taking those individual points, Simon. What do you think lies ahead? Because this is summer and we've seen this reopening phase, but around the corner lies seasonal challenges with winter. But at the same time, we're expecting people to go back to the offices with these vaccines, armed with the vaccine immunity. Do you think that's going to play out that way? And if not, where does it leave central bank support again? Yeah,
so about 6-8 weeks ago, yourself and Steve will both have seen broker notes fall over your desk, with each broker trying to fall over themselves to push the growth forecasts for the UK and indeed globally even higher. I was always cautious that there would be, I didn't get involved in that battle because I thought that the seasonal factors you mentioned going into the Northern Hemisphere winter, I'm no epidemiologist, but I think on the balance of probability, we're going to have some restrictions, or indeed communities, businesses, society are going to look at the data, look at the risks, and make their own judgments in terms of the amount of economic activity they will do. So I'd expect the strong momentum to face some quite severe challenges, and that's before you talk about some of the policy support, furlough, forbearance, that is going to be withdrawn on the fiscal side, which brings me to the second part of your question, which is where does that leave monetary authorities? Well, I mean, if we're taking the UK context, I think there's a very interesting meeting coming up from the Monetary Policy Committee in August, where it may signal the early end to their asset purchasing programme. But given the underlying risks going into the final quarter of the year, I still think that would just be a long way ahead of any move on the base rate in terms of moving bank rate higher and introducing tighter financial conditions, because there's a big transition to go through for the UK economy.
Simon, quick.